Guys of a Certain Age is brought to you by no one. Absolutely no one. Except these dudes walking down memory lane. Now let's head to the studio to see what they misremember next.
And we're back, your favorite buddies, talking about the things you really don't care about. It's Guys of a Certain Age. Robbie Koblenz in studio with my favorite buddies, including
Art Shirley
and Jay Reed.
How'd you like that, Jay?
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah, it's so special.
Yeah, well.
Favorite button. I made the favorite button.
Well, my favorite buddy is what I said, not button. Favorite button?
You know, you click favorite. You've clicked favorite. I'm clicked.
You just
favorite.
walked yourself right out of favorite.
Boing. You've just been unfavored.
Unfriended.
Unfriended. What's worse is being blocked indefinitely.
Oh, yeah.
Or snooze.
Snooze for 30 days.
Snooze
I've done
for
that.
120
Cut
days.
the mic off.
I've done that with some folks. I'm sure they've done it with me too.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about on Facebook, not in real life.
Oh, okay. I got you.
the original snooze.
The original snooze.
What happens at family reunions after that big lunch. So, all right, let's jump into some Geeks of the Week. Does anybody have one this week that wants to go? Art?
I have one. It was just...
I don't even know why I say who wants to go. I should just say, Art, what you got?
It'd feel weird if you didn't ask, though.
It's like the View. You start with the old person first, right? So Kyle Gass, I think that's his name, right? Jack Black's partner with Tenacious D. Has stepped in it.
Boy, he has.
Yeah, he made an insensitive comment about the recent assassination attempt on former President Trump, and that was not well received, as it should not have been well received. And Jack Black has said we're pretty much done. They canceled their tour, Tenacious D.
They were in Australia.
Canceled their tour and have no plans to do anything creatively after that. And if you're not familiar with them, they do their, the rock and roll music.
I've seen some videos.
Did tributes, like one of the funniest things.
Yeah, it's funny. Oh my gosh,
this is not the greatest song ever.
Yeah,
it's the tribute to it.
Yeah. Really, really good stuff. I mean, it's musically, it's very well done. And Kyle himself is a very accomplished musician, great guitar player. They've done a lot of stuff with Dave Grohl of Foo Fighters and fame, and then they did The Pick of Destiny was the movie that they did as Tenacious D. But yeah, though they said it's not happening. I think Kyle has since apologized for his remarks, but I think it's going to be
his agent dropped him.
His agent dropped him. That's right. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of, and of course everybody has the right to express their opinions and things. But the other side of that people don't get is you have the right to express your opinions, and we fully and wholeheartedly agree with that right. But understand there may be repercussions from that.
That's why we have Jay.
That's right. Our scapegoat, Jay. Yeah. So yeah. Just interesting news, I thought, with that.
Yeah. And
several people, at least one other has lost their job for making a comment like that.
I tell you what, regardless of where you fall on the spectrum, you just really don't hit send.
Yeah.
Just don't.
And regardless of what your political beliefs are, and this is one thing that I think has been really good about this, is you have seen so many people who are Democrats or whatever, who have been, this is not something that, that they would wish. I mean, this is not the way they want to get their candidate into the White House, next time. So that's been encouraging to see some of that. But anyway, yeah, so it's like, don't hit send. Don't, if you can stop yourself from saying it, don't say count to 10 if you have to.
Yeah, sleep on it.
Or count to 5 twice if you can't get to 10.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Anyway. And if you can't count to 5, then you just take it for the source it is. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Jay, what do you have as a Geek of the Week?
I have another travel tip, but this time you might actually be able to go. I know a lot of my Airbnb opportunities have been, kind of pop-ups.
Wasteful?
For a week, or the Shrek thing, or, all the things that we've talked about. But this is for real. It's for real closer by to most of our listeners, put it that way. So Earth
Lake
and
Tiacana.
Sky. Well,
sorry, Mervin, that's not real close by for you.
Yeah. No, this is in Asheville, North Carolina, which is kind of a second home to me. And it's called Earth and Sky Dwellings. So they've got an Instagram page. They've got a website, earthandskydwellings.com. And all
is it
of their...
tied into the NPR, Earth and Sky.
I don't-
stuff? Okay.
Block and Bird on NPR.
yeah.
Remember Block and Bird
yeah.
on NPR? Yeah.
But they have what I found recently. I follow some things about Asheville, and so somebody had
It's a treehouse.
posted this. There's a lot of tree houses, but there's one called the Phoenix that they're opening up very
that catches
soon.
on fire at 1
But I
a.m.
was just thinking.
No, there is a Harry Potter house as well. This is Star Wars. It's like a ship. It's a spaceship on a cliff. All the houses have amazing views, but it's like Star Wars themed. I looked up Phoenix. There's the Order of the Phoenix or something like that, or the Phoenix Order, and maybe Rebel. I don't know. I didn't. It was when I looked up
Disney
Phoenix.
has shown us people will pay big bucks to go see in a Star Wars themed
Right.
place.
So
that
I don't
sounds
know if
pretty
it's
cool.
an actual ship from the movie or if they came up with something, but there's a movie room inside where you can watch Star Wars movies, and everything is decorated very Star Wars-ish. They also have a house called the Prism, which is all superhero. It's a mix of Marvel and DC, a lot of Spider-Man stuff. And
Are we sure that people have the rights to this stuff?
I don't know. It's just like art. I mean, it's just art. They're not.
Okay. Do they have B in there as well? Because they don't have the rights to my stuff. There's a Jack Quasar room.
Right. That's coming.
The
next.
Phoenix looks pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's like a Harry
Now, is the
Potter
Phoenix
house.
a Star Wars one?
Yeah.
See, that's I'm showing the.
That is very cool.
It is.
It looks a little bit like the Jawas.
I think it can do the Castle Run in 11 parsecs.
Okay.
So it's opening August 30.
Right.
Book now.
They have something
So
called
that's
the
where we're going to
Mystic
do
Village.
the 300th episode.
There you go. There you go.
No.
We can each get one and tour it. And they have a castle. They have
It's
something
Mystic
called
Castle.
the Max, which is kind of a steampunk Mad Max-ish
cool.
kind of a thing.
Okay.
Their
I've got
website
one that's,
sucks.
Hobbit Knoll. I've got one that's got like
Wizard's
a
Hollow.
round door for Wizard's Hollow. So
Dragon's Knoll.
pretty much all of I think within Dragon's Knoll is Hobbit Knoll. It was kind of confusing when I was
In the
watching
belly.
the videos, but it's like not all of their properties are like this, but it kind of hits every geek genre almost.
Cool.
All dwellings sleep for. And,
Oh, really?
Yes, and children are allowed.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
So anyway, that's Asheville. North
So it's not
Carolina.
just the honeymoon spot that we thought it was.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
That's it.
And each house has both heat and air conditioning.
which you'll need the heat in the winter. Asheville can be chilly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's cool. Asheville's a great place.
Oh yeah.
You can actually get married on property. They have
Can you really?
elopement packages. So the cozy elopement is $800. So yeah,
Cozy elopement.
yeah, the cozy
Find a
elopement.
way to use those words in another sentence later today.
Okay, so all right, my geek of the week is some good news that doesn't have to do with Jay remarrying or marrying someone else who he's not married to right now in his cozy elopement. The Hollywood Reporter is saying that the saviors of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not Wade Wilson and Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds, but Joe and Anthony Russo are in talks to come back and direct Avengers 5 and 6.
Oh, okay.
So they've gone back to the well because the Russos have done such a great job.
Yeah, but I mean, what they left to do, what do they have, that Netflix spy series that was supposed to be their next big thing?
It was pretty horrible.
It was
wasn't
terrible, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been so good.
Yeah. They did Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame,
Yeah.
which are, I like three of those a lot. Civil War, I'm kind of ambivalent on. But Winter Soldier, we've talked about this before. I think it's just a great spy movie, and so I'm excited to see what they do.
Which one is okay? Yes, that's right. Winter Soldier is the one with Robert Redford and all that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the best one of those.
Any director that can get Robert Redford to say "Hell Hydra," I mean,
that's right.
That's
Yeah.
a pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, Civil War is a little bit too much of a preamble to what's coming with. I mean, yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
They're all good movies.
Yeah.
But good deal. That's great. That's
Yeah.
good to hear. So, have y'all seen the trailer for the new Captain America movie?
I did.
It looks good. It's got me kind of excited to see it.
Yeah, I love the. One of the spoofs I saw was Harrison Ford, who's playing Thunderbolt Ross, saying to Sam Wilson, "You may be what was it? You may be captain in the Millennium in the Falcon, but you'll never be captain of the Millennium
I thought
Falcon."
that was good too. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he explains the lack of mustache.
Yeah. I like the new look.
Yeah.
I had to get rid of the mustache in order to get elected. But the speculation is Thunderbolt Ross dies at the end and becomes Red Hulk.
Oh, okay. So Red Hulk is always Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you saw Red Hulk at the end?
Oh,
obviously.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Red Hulk is not Green Hulk.
He's looking at me as he says this.
Yeah.
And I can't tell the difference.
But Gray. Well, they're all Gray Hulk to you.
That's right.
Right. So, but you have Gray Hulk as well. So
Gray Hulk was the first Hulk.
Yeah.
But then don't they have a sustained character? Doesn't he become Gray Hulk every now and then?
Yeah. I think so.
I knew they were different.
Yeah. So, that's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with Avengers 5 and 6. I'm looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine.
All right, who do you think is going to be Lady Deadpool?
I have no idea.
Who do you think an actress is going to carry? I think it's going to be Kate Beckinsale. Have you seen the stuff that they say where, like celebrities that look like each other, and you've got Dallas Bryce Howard and Jessica Chastain and several people. Ryan Reynolds and Kate Beckinsale are always put together because their facial structure. I mean, she looks like he could be, they could be brother and sister. And so people have said Blake Lively, but I just think Kate Beckinsale would be
That would be great.
I think that's going to be a really good movie.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping,
Yeah.
And just to see, Ryan Reynolds make a joke about Kevin Feige and a cocaine addiction, that may be enough to get me in. So, but I'm looking forward to that. So, all right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk up next. And we're back. Jay almost broke when I said Godzilla. I mean, that's right. So, but we're going to talk not Monster Universe, but Godzilla Minus One and Godzilla times Kong or X Kong or
By Kong.
I
don't know. I've never heard what they're calling it.
I don't know. I haven't seen either one. I've seen pieces of either one. So, but when has that ever stopped me before weighing in with an opinion? So, what'd you guys think about both the flicks?
I enjoyed both flicks a lot. I think Godzilla Minus One is probably a better movie. It's just it took itself, as strange as this is to say, it took itself more seriously and really tried to capture that late 50s, early 60s kind of feel and took you back to when that original movie was made. But Godzilla times Kong was a lot of fun. It's kind of once more back to the well with these characters again in this underground world. So that was a lot of fun. It to me was probably, I enjoyed it, but probably the least memorable or favorite of this new thing. Maybe Godzilla King of the Monsters was still the weakest link in the thing, but I thought it was fun.
Jay, what did you think?
Yeah, well, the Godzilla Minus One, I thought they did a great job. Several things I loved about it. One was the story behind it. I mean, Godzilla was very much in it, but the story that kind of wove it together, the kamikaze pilot, and I don't know if there's call this as spoilers or not, but the fact that he didn't do what he's supposed to do, he had a lack of honor, and then he shows up on the island and he doesn't. I don't know that he could have done anything against Godzilla, but they thought he could have, and he failed there too. And then he still comes home with all this baggage and gets, after World War II, I assume, coming back with the bombings of Tokyo or whatever.
Because that's Godzilla's the whole thing is the response to being bombed. So when Japan was bombed,
right.
Yeah. So
but just the way they wove the story together, and I did enjoy just on the comic side of it is. Because I always have the captions on, so reading the captions and listening to the dubbing of the words, which are not the same, was kind of fun. And Melissa was watching it with me for a little while, and she was like, "They didn't do a very good job of putting the voices with the words. They're behind." I'm like, "No, they're speaking Japanese." But that reminded me, and I told y'all before when we lived overseas, and in the only movies you could get were pirated copies. So they did the same thing. You'd see a movie where it would be translated or dubbed into Chinese or something, and then when you watched it again, they would do the captions based on the Chinese translation, and so you'd be hearing it in English and then seeing the English dubbing translation. It was hilarious. But anyway, that was just sort of reminiscent for me, but I thought it was pretty well done, even for. You said it was CGI when we talked about it before. CGI of the man in the rubber suit. Kind of a thing.
I mean, there may have been a man in the suit, but it was enhanced by CGI. So I mean, what they did was they recreated the feel of the guy in the rubber suit, but then amped it up so that it kind of felt a little bit more.
Still really good graphics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very much so. I mean, definitely not the, hollow buildings, cardboard buildings that would be knocked over and you could tell there was no structure inside of them.
Yeah. And then Godzilla by Kong, or whatever we're calling it, the other ones I haven't seen, like you compared to some, I probably haven't seen them more recently enough to make that comparison. But I thought it was kind of fun the fact that, Godzilla and Kong are supposed to be enemies.
Yeah.
And they band together to save the world against I forget what the super bad guy Titan's name was.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
So they went from being enemies to TFFs.
Yeah.
And there were some winks in there.
Yeah.
So like Kong, just kind of like, I know you're my enemy, but he kind of almost literally winked at one point. And little mini Kong, I don't know what his role will be later, but I liked. It was almost kind of like Bionic Kong. He got the new tooth.
Yeah, that's right.
He got the Titanic tooth or titanium tooth or whatever it was, and then that super duper arm when he got frostbite from I can't remember the other Titan's name that froze his arm, but it was almost like Thor in a way. The Thor movie. So it's still
because he's got the
the
hammer
humor.
thing or the axe
well, that's
thing.
true.
Yeah.
I thought about that, but just bringing a little bit more humor into it, into the genre, but not too much. It wasn't too much, but it was
and that's
enough.
true to the original run. I mean, you had the original Godzilla movie, Gojira in Japan, that was had scenes with Raymond Burr added to it for American release, and became Godzilla at that point. But those were very dark movies, and Godzilla Minus One taps into that. But then later in the 60s, stuff you started to see this humorous stuff, and you'd have like funny characters, that were there for slapstick kind of stuff or comic relief. And you did see some of this. You'd usually have an introductory movie of Mothra or Rodan or Godzilla, of course, and then you would have a movie where this villain monster comes up, Ghidorah or something like that, and Mothra and Godzilla would, or whoever would team up.
Right.
And, they'd start out and everybody was destroying everything, and then they'd realize, we've got to get rid of this guy, and then everybody would swim off or fly off, whatever they did.
Yeah. But as far as a sequel in a series, I thought I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. I didn't feel like, that's 2 hours I just lost.
Yeah. And we had thought about actually going to see it in the theater, and ended up seeing Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes instead, which after seeing both of them, to me, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was the better movie.
I can't wait to watch that one.
That was really good. It should be. I think it's coming on Max pretty soon.
I would imagine it is.
But it was definitely fun. You can't see that without thinking I'm ready for the next season of Monarch to come out.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you: is how well did it pull into Monarch?
It really doesn't. I mean, it doesn't really. You see no. I don't even know if there was much of a reference to Monarch.
There was
in this
maybe
movie.
a mention or two.
Yeah, but there's nothing like in the movie prior. Monarch is the organization of Monarch is a much bigger deal. This one you're seeing the scientist and her adopted daughter, who ends up becoming a member of this lost tribe. They're back from the other movie, but
they work for Monarch, don't they?
They do, but they're kind of like in the series, they're not the military folks; they're the scientist part. Right. So they're doing Monarch because they have to get for funding.
Is it the deaf girl who comes back?
Yes. Yeah. And she did great. She's great. Yeah. And I liked that idea that she can communicate with Kong. And that's of course that has real world applications because the gorillas have been taught sign language, but anyway, like I said, I really like that. I think we've talked off mic before. This inner world thing is shows up several times in science. Hollow Earth, yes, thank you. Shows up several times in science fiction. Okay. So
yeah, and I think that going back to Godzilla Minus One, I love how it ended, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but you expect all this sacrifice, and the mom is or the adopted mom is missing and presumed dead, and you presume that he's dead, and then it has a happy ending. Yeah, I mean, as much as a Godzilla movie can have a happy ending, and Godzilla X Kong too. I really thought it was kind of.
I keep thinking you're saying Godzilla X Kong.
Yeah. He's out, and he's still mad.
But how that one ended
Eddie
too,
Murphy is Godzilla X Kong.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So how
In a
when
world.
at the end of the Godzilla by Kong or whatever you want to call it is when
Not to be
Godzilla comes
confused
back.
with Godzilla Bifrost.
Okay.
Bifrost.
Bifrost, yes.
The Bifrost. From
When he
Thor.
goes back to the Coliseum and kind of curls up inside
Yes.
the Coliseum and takes a nap, like this is my house now.
Yeah.
That was funny.
He's like a cat almost. Yeah. It's pretty funny.
So, which one did you guys like better, -1 or
they're
the
so
Kong
different.
variant?
I really liked -1 better, and I think because it was the Godzilla by Kong had been, felt like, just the next in a series. It was good.
Sure.
There weren't any real surprises in it, and I was very much surprised by how much I liked Godzilla -1. I mean, it was just like Jay was saying, the story was really good, but also they did some things. They had some effects, and I think I mentioned this before. There's a thing where Godzilla's in a field, and the plane is circling him, trying to attack. And again, I know this is CGI, but they made it look like it was models on string. So it looked like those old kind of stuff. Now, there's a Godzilla -1 minus color version that's black and white.
That's hitting
Yeah.
Netflix soon.
Yeah. And then, of course, my sons would say you've got to watch the original Japanese version with the subtitles rather than the dubbed version. We watched the dubbed version because we watched what was free on Netflix.
Right.
Yeah.
Same.
But I thought it was good.
I would choose that one. I wouldn't disrecommend either one of them, but I would choose Godzilla -1 if I had to pick.
Yeah.
Disrecommend? Is that a word?
These days, you can make your own words.
That's right. The J Dictionary.
The J Dictionary. Well, I do intend to watch both at some point once I get through Big Love on HBO Max. So,
Big Love.
Yeah, which is
You've mentioned it before.
fascinating.
I wasn't sure
I love Bill Paxton.
how much I would like either one of these, but I'm really glad that I
Yeah.
took the time for this.
All right, I'm going to go off on a tangent because I was going to do this for a Geek of the Week, but Union Terminal in Cincinnati is
yeah, I've
closed
seen
for a
this.
private event rental this week. What Union Terminal in Cincinnati is the building that was modeled after the
inspiration for.
inspiration for the Justice League headquarters
Yes, it's a
and the
super-
Justice League, the Super Friends series.
Uh-huh.
And so the speculation is the new Superman movie is shooting exteriors there.
That is too funny.
I mean,
It
how
looks just like, I didn't realize, they didn't do a whole lot of changing.
well,
They
I mean,
did, right?
here I've got a picture
Yeah.
up. There's the Hall of Justice and there's Union Terminal.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's going to be
That's
awesome.
so cool.
Jay was today years old when he realized that, when he found that out. So, yeah, I think Johnny Fever's going to have a cameo in it too. So, but the speculation, like we talked about, is this new Superman movie is a completely different Superman than we've ever seen
Yeah.
before. There's an established superhero hierarchy apparently, and then Clark Kent shows up.
And we're seeing a lot of, photos from set stuff that have been.
What'd you think about Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner?
I think, knowing Nathan Fillion, I think it's going to be hilarious. I think it's going to work.
Well, what'd you
well.
think about his uniform?
Well,
his
they're all
guy?
they're all wearing like a team uniform.
Yeah.
That's what. Of course, I didn't much care for that uniform. I
Yeah.
want to see him in what you see Guy Gardner in, and
Yeah.
I think we will.
Yeah.
But yeah, it worked better on Mr. Terrific than it did on either Hawkgirl or Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion with the blonde dyed hair.
With the bowl cut.
Oh
Yeah.
man, it's pretty hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, that I didn't much care for that uniform that he had on. But I do think it's because they're all supposed to that this whatever this initial team is, whether it's Justice League or whatever, is wears something that's kind of like what the Avengers did when they were doing the time travel stuff.
the speculation is, not to turn this into a Superman segment because I didn't watch either of the movies you guys picked, but that it's the Justice League International, Maxwell Lord's version
of the Justice League.
of the Justice League, kind of a corporate Justice League.
And that would make sense with the uniforms.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I wish I had gone to Union Station when I was in Cincinnati on that project a couple of years ago to see the Hall of Justice, but I didn't. So
Maybe that's our road trip.
And we could go to Skyline and go to Skyline Chili and get Skyline Chili. Have you ever had, Jay? Have you ever had Cincinnati chili?
I have had Skyline Chili from a can, but I've never been to Cincinnati for that. I've been to Cincinnati, but I was a kid.
Yeah, it's kind of cinnamon.
Oh, yeah, I like it. I like it.
Really?
It's not really chili, though.
Yeah.
It's like a cinnamon meat sauce.
Whatever it is, I like it.
Of course you like it. So
yeah, I think I bought 2 cans of Skyline Chili at a yard sale in Florida when we lived in Florida.
Of course you did.
I know. And, I had
That's
already,
where all your problems started.
I knew enough to know that it was, the history of it. And, I'd never seen it anywhere else. So I grabbed it. And
you can get it off Amazon.
They weren't bulging cans. So
no botulism.
Not as far as I know.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I like cinnamon in things anyway, like that, chili and stuff. So
Yeah.
Melissa, not so much, but I'll sneak some in every now and then.
Oh, wow. When
It's
she's
a warming
gone.
spice.
It's a warming spice. Really?
Yeah, for real. It's a thing. I've written a whole column on it.
Didn't read that one. So, is there a place where anybody can go and read all your columns somewhere?
Jay's mom's house.
Eats18.com. Right. Yeah. It's a stack of
This is
newspapers.
Reed's house, yeah.
No, eats18.com.
And I meant nothing disparaging by that. I think that's,
Thanks.
yeah.
She really does have a stack of
But
newspapers.
my mom does not
as
have
do
all my
I.
comic strips or,
Yeah,
Is
and
that-
then eatdrinkmississippi.com may have some stuff on there too.
That camel looks hungry. Where'd that camel come from? Is
It
that
was-
your pet camel?
It was just
Did you-
a picture that I took from
Did you steal this?
WordPress.
Did you steal this clip art?
Nope, it was an optional background through
Is
my WordPress.
Is anytime chitlin time?
how about now, Jay?
Is now chitlin time?
Not today. One time was chitlin time, and that's all the time I needed.
It's just a working lunch. This is all the titles of Jay's columns.
Okay.
So, I don't. Did you ever mention us in any of your columns?
I'm trying to think, what the overlap would have been.
Well, 2021.
Yeah, probably so.
Probably he didn't do it. Man, we mention him every week. Even when he's not here, we mention him.
Yeah, that's what he's afraid of.
And the piece of his life that had the most publicity, we're nowhere to be seen.
That's right.
So anyway,
I'm sure it's there somewhere.
I'm sure it's there
Between the
somewhere.
lines.
Between the lines. That's right. So, all right, cool beans. That is that's the lowdown on the Godzilla entries for this year. But you guys enjoyed them.
Oh, yeah.
So my last question is Godzilla Minus One worthy of the Oscar for special effects?
Yeah, I think so, because they did such a great job of convincing you that the effects were, not CGI. I mean, and that they were like old school kind of stuff. I thought it worked really well.
Reverse psychology.
And then when he was tearing up the cities, it was great. I mean, it was really, really good stuff. To me, that's the one that still stands out for me is where he's following this boat, and the waves and all that are reacting to his, his head going through the water.
I need to watch. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time around.